I don't want you to hit that.
Oh, okay. That's what happens when you change your hooks and your place of employment. The captain sits on it.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry I can't get through. Why don't you leave your name and your number, and I'll get back to you. Hey, how are you doing? Sorry I can't get through. Why don't you leave your name and your number, and I'll get back to you. Once again, it's another rap bandit, feeling an eye and I.
Oh, it's a shark!
Wanna be
I'm on!
with the day
I'm on!
knocking on my door saying, hey, yo, yo.
Alright, Comanche Surf Casting here. First big one of the year. This is caught on the brand new GSB 9-foot light.
Dealing with my own business. How they get my name and number? Then I stop and think and wonder my plans. Oh man, I gotta step outside. You wanna call me up? Take my number down.
Hey everybody, it's Pete from Comanche Surf Casting. I'm excited to welcome everybody back for the 2018 season. Weather's warming up, tons of fish around. Everybody's out there catching them. We've been having a blast. The season started off like last year. We shot down to Florida. It's always a really good time. We head down, we target the biggest fish you possibly can imagine from shore. We target tarpon, we target black tip sharks on top water, big snook, monster redfish, and this year we even got a trophy Goliath grouper on bucktail. So we had a blast. You know, this season started where last season ended, with Fred, as usual, catching the biggest fish. So we're lucky enough this year to have a nice group of fish that pushed in early. We started off like we always do in the rivers, but quickly moved out of that and started working the bays where there seemed to be a large group of big fish hunting around. So just want to go over a little bit of the techniques that we use to target these fish, and hopefully some of this will help out. So first off, in the spring, I like to try and keep it as simple as possible, but I always carry 4 or 5 of the exact same lures. This bag pretty much never changes, no matter if it's day or night, where I'm fishing. Come April 15th, I'll have a 7-inch loaded redfin with me. I beef up the hooks and the split rings because you never know what's going to eat this bad boy. Same thing wherever we are is Chicken Scratch SP Minnow. This one's a floating and it's done a lot of damage so far. It seems like big fish will eat this, little fish will eat this, and as long as you have enough water to throw it, it's game on. Always have a big stick shad with us. This is kind of tough to throw with the rod sometimes, but it's big bait, and when the bunkers show up, the fish can't resist it. You also get good reaction strikes and a cast half a mile. All right, and of course, we always have a Super Strike popper. Super Strike lures just always catch, for some reason, big fish. 90% of my big fish have come on Super Strike lures. They're well made, and Steve Musso's just an all-around good guy. All right, and then in the smaller pouch, I always have a light sluggo with me, 12 inches. This particular bait seems to call out the bigger fish, even when they're hitting plugs. So this is always in the bag. Early season, since we're talking about the spring, there's always bucktails. These are light bucktails tipped with Kitech paddle tails. This year we first started fishing the Kitechs, and they've really made a huge difference in our catch percentage. It's a regular early season killer. This is a 1/2 ounce head with a beefed up hook and a 5-inch Kitech. One thing we noticed about the Kitechs is even though they're a very big profile, because they're salted, they're heavy, and they sink really slowly. So don't be afraid to throw a big one of these in shallow water. You can reel it in slow and it stays up off the bottom. Great lure. This is a new bait that we're going to be fishing a lot this year, is the Kitechs. And in the main part of the bag, just in case there's big stuff rolling around, there's always a Chris Voorhees trawler. You can adjust this so it can swim up top. You can adjust it to swim deep. And if the bunker comes through, even with a 9-foot rod, this is 2 9-foot Super Surf G2 Pro, and it can even handle a 5-ounce metal lip. You're not going to throw the balls off it, but you can pitch it out there, and usually the fish are pretty close when you're throwing those big metal lips. Springtime, there's all sorts of different baits that are moving around, and sometimes the fish get keyed in on it. And I like to fish during the day, and I like to fish during the night. Actually, I like to fish whenever I can. So to stay organized, I keep my one bag that has my go-to lures in it, and then I'll switch back and forth depending on location I'm fishing, time of day, and what bait's around. I do that pretty easily with me in the back of my Jeep, a 3-tray plastic container, and I just separate it by big profile, small profile, and then bucktail and swimming plugs. So in my top container I have pencil poppers, guppy pencil popper in white. That's a go-to all the time. This is a Chris Voorhees pencil popper. This is a Fatty Lure glider. This one I call the fish finder. If there's anything around, it'll usually take a whack at it. This is a good way. It covers a lot of ground, and the fish seem to like it. This is a small 2-ounce Beachmaster darter, assortment of Super Strike plugs, darters, bottles, and even a secret color or two. Next will be smaller profile swimming plugs. When they're spearing around, I carry little redfin, small size magic swimmers, both swimming and floating. The nighttime killers, your black jointed redfin, 5-inch. Got the same for the daytime in white. Large mag darter. Now this is an X-Wrap that we did really well in Florida on, so I decided to break it out up here. And in the bay, when we have dirty water, it seems that these really bright colors will get you a strike. Really. So, what else do we got? For quiet nights, when you don't really have any wind and you know the fish are there and they're spooky, I like to throw little metal lips. This is a little black label, 5 inches. Beachmaster little guy. They wake really well across the top, and the fish come up and eat them. Of course, SP minnows, all assorted colors and sizes. Somebody once told me fishing with an SP minnow is like going striped bass fishing with training wheels, and it's true. Cast the thing out, reel it back in, and twitch it. If there's a fish around, it's probably gonna eat it. We'll downsize a little bit and throw the Mucho minnow. I know a couple guys that have been doing really good on this. It's a very small profile bait that casts really well. Same thing, upgrade the hooks. Don't want to get straightened out on a big fish. Classic mag darter, which is always a favorite here in New York and New Jersey, and then of course a couple bombers. All right, so what do we got in the bottom drawer? So when we're not throwing plugs, we're gonna be throwing bucktails. This is a special made 1-ounce bucktail. If you notice, it's got an immense amount of hair on it. It's to be thrown in shallow water to keep it up off the bottom. We have regular bucktails, and of course, for the rivers, early season, we throw a lot of the really long soft plastics because I think they imitate herring. Sluggos, hoagies, sluggos, and these are mega shacks. The biggest fish that I got this spring came on a 5-inch cobra bait, a white one. It hailed me. It's when herring around, these are great baits, and when they're spearing around, you can't beat a small Savage 3/4 ounce. And then assorted others. Got a little bit of everything in here. My river inlet box. Pretty simple. Heavy bucktails, 3 ounces, 4 ounces, all with extremely beefy hooks. I mean, you're not straightening these out. Had a lot of luck fishing Savages, all sorted weights and sizes. Same thing, make sure you get the ones with the big hooks. And of course the Tsunami swim shads. I like the footballs when I'm fishing the inlets and the rivers with heavy current. They sink quickly and get right down into the strike zone and stay there. But there's all sorts of assorted stuff in this box. In March, setup wise, I fished pretty much 2 setups. I fished the Super Surf G2 Pro Series with a 150 spooled up with 30-pound spider wire. I've also been using the new GSB 9-foot light. I hope everybody has a safe and successful season. Have fun. Remember to respect the fish, respect each other, and we'll see you out there.